Hey YouTube, it's Lisa, and I am so excited because today I want to talk about how I gave up soda. Soda has been a long time addiction for me. I have actually blamed 2 of my miscarriages. I really honestly think I was ODing on soda. That's kind of a hard thing to face when you think about the fact that you might have caused it. I know sometimes people say, oh, people think that, but nothing would have affected it. But considering how much soda I was drinking at that time, before I found out I was pregnant, I really do think that that amount of caffeine and artificial sweetener can actually do damage to the egg. That's just my theory. So anyway, it was a big long journey for me to give up soda, and I was amazed at how addicted I was, how I couldn't just quit. And it wasn't until my husband read this article about people who would find out that they had life-threatening illnesses and they were only able to change for a couple of months that I realized, you know what, that's kind of me, and I need to make a lifelong decision to give up soda. So my husband was a Diet Mountain Dew drinker, and he gave it up cold turkey. But he also would drink like a small amount, and it was easier for him, I think, because I seriously was drinking 1 to 2 liters a day of Diet Coke or Diet Dr. Pepper or whatever, and it just seemed to be a filler for me. So when I first started to quit, I tried to go cold turkey, and seriously, everyone in my house wanted to give me soda because I was so evil. So anyway, so then I kind of went back on soda because that wasn't working, and I tried to replace it with coffee. Well, coffee was burning my stomach, and it's kind of an interesting thing because I am not a coffee drinker. My family doesn't drink coffee or tea, and we actually went against that just so I could get off the soda. So I would drink coffee, and then with the coffee, I would feel like I needed to drink, I would feel like I needed to eat crackers or bread or something. So it was kind of like a double whammy because first of all, I'm trying to give up diet soda, which is calorie free and you can drink it. And now I'm replacing it with coffee, you know, and of course I put a little almond milk in there and some stevia, and then I'm having crackers. So I'm having like this full meal just to get that caffeine fix. And that wasn't working. It still was burning my stomach. I was always eating crackers and stuff. I am not a tea drinker. Tea was horrible. I also tried yerba mate, I think is how you say it, and that was okay, except the taste is hideous. You would clearly only want to take it for purely for caffeine, not for taste. And so I was going on this big cycle, and I was having a hard time finding something to replace it. So I was actually doing some fertility research, and I found this thing called matcha green tea, and it's actually just the green tea leaves that are actually ground up, so they're not really processed, they're just ground up into a fine green powder. And I had read, number one, I had read that they were, that it was very, like it had a really great health effects, like antioxidants, and that it was just really powerful. But most of all, the way the caffeine was processed in your body, you didn't have the crashes. So I decided to try it. So I started making green tea lattes, or the matcha green tea lattes. So I would put, it says a teaspoon. I was so addicted to caffeine that initially I put 2 tablespoons of the matcha green tea powder into a cup with a cup of almond milk, and then some agave nectar. And then I would use my immersion blender and blend that up. And I would also put some caramel flavor, just some caramel, like, you know, extract. And then I would put some Himalayan sea salt on the top, and it was like a salted caramel latte, if you could get past the green color. So initially, it really helped me so much. I really didn't have the cravings. Eventually, I was able to get down to 1 teaspoon. And the reason that I wanted to get off of it completely is, even though it had all these health benefits, I was literally, you know, I was like packing away 150 to 200 calories per drink, because the agave nectar is 60 per tablespoon, and I would, you know, want a heaping tablespoon to kind of cover up the 2 tablespoons. The matcha only has 20 itself per serving, but, you know, if you're like doubling up servings like I was, and then the almond milk, which is super low in calories, but sometimes I would make a smoothie with a banana. But all in all, it was well worth it. It only took me about 2 weeks to do that, and then I was completely not craving caffeine. I started drinking a gallon of water a day, and that really helped because I wasn't thirsty, but I was still craving that kick, that fizz in my throat. I was just like, I wanted something flavorful, and I didn't want a bunch of artificial junk either. Like, I didn't want to replace one bad thing with another. So I was just kind of going along with the water, hoping that the cravings ended. Well, then I started the Trim Healthy Mama program, and they have this drink called Good Girl Moonshine. The Good Girl Moonshine, and I'm not breaking copyrights or anything because it's actually online on their website. So the Good Girl Moonshine is, now don't change the channel and get all grossed out, because this is actually, it's, just give it a try. It's like way better than it sounds. Okay, so the Good Girl Moonshine is apple cider vinegar, or like a tablespoon. I will put the link below so you can get actual measurements, but as you do it, you'll kind of do a splash of this and a pinch of that, and you'll find your good mix without measuring it every time. But when I first started, I did measure it. So apple cider vinegar, and then ginger, and cayenne pepper, and now here's the kicker for me, that also some stevia. Now I'll tell you how I ended up like basically counteracting this, but it was good for me initially. So, and then you mix all those up and you get this lovely drink, and honestly, it is so good. It is so good. So you mix all that up and you put some water in it. Now, after I've been doing it for a while, I realized that I could put seltzer water in it and get fizz. So I started putting seltzer water in it and getting fizz. So, and it was amazing. Well, then I found out, like, I read another thing called Good Girl Moonshine Caramel Apple. So that one is just apple cider vinegar, some caramel flavor, and caramel flavor is not as hard to find as you would think. I mean, I actually had it on hand for some weird reason, but I buy it at Walmart for $2 and maybe 24 or 25 cents. And it's not like an expensive, crazy, hard to find ingredient, unless you live in upstate New York, which is where I used to live, and you could never get anything. But anyway, so you mix that together, just a little drop of the caramel and some apple cider vinegar, and then you put in your seltzer water. So good, so good. You would not believe how good it is. And so, okay, so I drank that for, you know, like a couple weeks, and the vinegar is detoxifying, and the cayenne pepper is supposed to like raise your thermogenics or whatever, so you burn more calories. I don't know about all that, but anyway, it was really good for me. And as I got used to the taste, I took it down from 3 packets of stevia to 2 packets of stevia to 1 packet of stevia to no packets of stevia. So now my drink is just apple cider vinegar. Now I prefer the caramel apple one, really, mainly. So it's mainly apple cider vinegar, some seltzer water, and a little bit of dash of caramel. And I feel so good. I'm no longer craving caffeine. I am no longer craving the fizz. And so I think I just wanted to post this at the time of New Year's resolutions. And so, yeah, if you want to give up soda, really give it a try. I think you'll be really surprised. And, excuse me, be willing to make the sacrifice on the calories for the initial week, because that was so worth it for me. So anyway, love you, YouTube, and I hope this was a helpful video. Talk to you soon.